One afternoon, Larry puffed into the big yard to fill his tender with coal. Near the coal tower, he saw a new engine being steamed up and inspected. Larry puffed under the chute, and his fireman got down to pull the handle, but nothing happened. "That's funny," said Larry to the new engine. "The chute isn't working." "It fooled you into thinking you were going to get a tender full of coal," she chuckled. Larry was annoyed, but wasn't worried. He had just enough coal to get to the next station. Later on, Larry was in the roundhouse having a rest before another run on his branch line when the new engine puffed alongside. "You'll do test runs around here for the rest of the week. Then you'll be shown around," Miss Caldwell said. "Who will I be with?" the engine asked. Miss Caldwell pointed at Larry. "What?" Larry whistled. "I mean, great. What's your name?" "Samiyah," she answered cheerfully. The next day, Larry was working with Christian at Denville. He was so grumpy that he bumped the coal cars hard. "What's got you so upset?" asked Christian. "I have to take a new engine with me on my branch line." "What's wrong with that?" Christian wanted to know. "She'll slow me down," Larry replied. "I like to run my branch line on time. My passengers and freight customers rely on me for their mainline connection." "Don't think like that," chuckled Christian. "Give her a chance. You may even like her." "Doubt it," huffed Larry. Monday morning, Larry found Samiyah already coupled to his mixed train. He whistled a grumpy good morning and backed down onto her. "Please don't lag behind," said Larry rudely. "I run my trains on time." "Oh yes," agreed Samiyah. "I don't tolerate being late. Nice to meet an engine who's like that." "I wasn't expecting that," Larry thought to himself. That morning, Larry had made his mind up about being grumpy all day. However, much to his surprise, he and Samiyah had a lot in common. By the last station, he had forgotten all about being grumpy and was smiling. He even let Samiyah lead on the return trip. At the end of the day, the two engines had become great friends. That evening, when they arrived back at the big yards, they met Sion. "Samiyah, this is Sion. He pulls trains along the coastline. Sion, this is Samiyah. She's new to the railroad." "Nice to meet you," Sion said politely. "It was smart for them to pair you with Larry. He has lots of experience." "He is teaching me a lot," Samiyah puffed proudly. Samiyah and Larry worked together all week. By the time next week had ended, Larry had enough confidence in her to take his mixed train on her own. Very late in the afternoon when she arrived back, Alex had news for her. "A very important freight train has to be picked up from the seaport tomorrow and brought to Otisville. Since you're doing so well, I figured you can take it." "I won't let you down, Alex," Samiyah beamed. The next morning was misty and damp, thanks to a storm that had came in off the coast. When Samiyah arrived, the harbor was shrouded in thick fog, and she found her cars were still being loaded. Come on, badgered Samiyah. "I'm going to be late." "Keep your boiler jacket on," the worker retorted. Loading was soon complete, and after a brake test, the conductor gave the all clear. "Let's get going," called Samiyah. She started so quickly her wheels began to slip. "Oh no, not now, she groaned. Her driver tried all sorts of tricks, but it was no use. Samiyah's wheels just spun in place. Sion, who was waiting in the yard for his passenger train, came over to help. He pushed while Samiyah pulled. The train then began to move. Sion wasn't coupled, so Samiyah was able to pull ahead. "Thank you, Sion," she called. Samiyah charged up the hill with every ounce of steam she had. "Steady, girl, steady," called her driver, but Samiyah was not listening. She huffed down the line, hoping to make up for lost time. Ahead, she saw a distant signal that showed green, so she kept going at her same speed. However, when they rounded the bend, they saw the home signal was set to danger. "What the hell?" shouted the driver. "Stop, stop, please," Samiyah cried. Her driver quickly dumped the air, putting the train into emergency. Because of the wet weather, Samiyah's wheels locked and slid along the rails. They then looked ahead and hard and saw that Taylor's passenger train was stopped in the middle of the line. The conductor yelled back into the passenger car, "Evacuate! Hurry, hurry, hurry! There's gonna be a crash!" There was nothing more Samiyah's driver and fireman could do, so they jumped clear, while Samiyah just shut her eyes. Thankfully, Samiyah had slowed down, and she simply just bumped to the back of the passenger train. The passengers on the last car were only a little shaken, but thankfully none of them were hurt by the jolt. Taylor's conductor wasn't happy. "What's wrong with you and your engine? You can't read signals?" "That distance signal was clear," protested Samiyah. "That's impossible," snapped the conductor. "You must have not been paying attention in the fog." "That signal was green, and that's that," fumed the fireman. "Well, I don't believe you. You're just trying to save yourselves. I will be reporting this to Carol when we get to the big station." Taylor's crew eventually fixed the problem with her brakes, and she set off on her way. Once Samiyah was given the all clear, she started off. But every time her wheels got to a certain spot, they made a clunking noise. "What's that?" Samiyah asked. They then stopped again. The driver got down to inspect. "I'm sorry, old girl," he sighed. "It looks like you have flat tires." Now, flat tires for steam engines aren't the same as flat tires on a car. Steam engines have a steel rim called a tire that goes around their wheel. And if they slide for a long period of time in one place like Samiyah did coming to a stop, then they can become flat and worn and have to be replaced. Samiyah felt awful. She thought she was going to get into trouble and end up being sent away. Larry was working in a yard nearby and came to help Samiyah. "Are you all right, Samiyah?" he asked. "No, I'm not okay. Not only do I have flat wheels, but Taylor's conductor's going to report me. I'm going to get in real trouble." "I won't let that happen," Larry said confidently and coupled up. In the end, Ian ended up taking the special train to Otisville, and Larry took Samiyah to the works to be mended. Close to the evening, the rain had finally cleared up, and the sun had came out. Samiyah was still awaiting repairs when Larry puffed in. "So what happened?" asked Samiyah. "Well, after I dropped you off here, I went straight to the station. And sure enough, right when I got there, I noticed Taylor's conductor telling Miss Caldwell everything." "And then what happened?" "I immediately jumped into the conversation and said you would never be so careless. But the conductor insisted you ran that red signal. So Miss Caldwell went to her office and made some phone calls and looked into it. The tower operator along the coast confirmed with her that his signals were not working properly, and that's why you got the false green." "Then she yelled at the conductor for jumping to conclusions," chuckled Larry. Samiyah laughed too. "It serves him right for how he came at my crew and I. I see how hard and determined you are to work," complimented Larry. "I think you'll be a great addition to our railroad." "Oh, you really think so?" Samiyah asked with a big smile on her face. "I really do," Larry grinned. Samiyah was happy. Not only did she find a home, but she found a good new friend in Larry.